Since we're talking about Jesus, let's see what the Quran does say about Jesus. And it doesn't do a very good job. And this is why, again, we've got to start learning the Quran, because this book here spends all its time talking about his infancy. So you have in chapter 3, verse 46, where he speaks from the cradle. Well, I know Jesus never spoke from the cradle, so that obviously is an apocryphal writing. A few verses later, 3 verses later, in chapter 3, verse 49, it says that this Jesus, Isa, created birds out of clay, blew on them, and they flew up in the air. Now, I know God can create, but not birds, and that certainly is not a story that's in my Bible. So where does that story come from? Well, I know exactly where it comes from. It comes from the Targum of Jonathan ben Uzziah. Mentions in the same verse that he heals the sick, the lepers, and gives sight to the blind, and resuscitates the dead. So in those 4 injunctions in chapter 3, verse 49, you can use, but the real difficulty is chapter 4, verse 157 of the Quran, because there it says that he does not die on the cross. Truly, he did not die, for another was given his image, and that man took his place on the cross. Now, in that one little verse, it denies everything I know about my Lord Jesus Christ. And it confronts everything I know about my own faith. Because if God did not die, if Jesus did not die on the cross, I'm damned, and so are you. So we've got to confront their view of Jesus. This Jesus is not my Jesus. Even the name Isa is not Jesus. It's not an Arabic name. It actually is it looks like it comes from Syriac writing. It looks almost every one of these stories about Isa are from the Syriac writings, the apocryphal writings. Most of them are Gnostic writings, starting to be written in the 2nd century, much too late to be included in my Bible. And what's interesting, they spent all the time about his infancy, and as an adult, he spends his whole time denying his divinity. Is that your Jesus? It's not my Jesus, so I want nothing to do with Isa.